It's a visit with a person of high strangeness. Here I am. I thought I got lost in the forest, and a big bad wolf was coming to get me. Anyway, today is sort of a show like that where we kind of trying to find our way through the forest, so to speak, because this is the first live Skype show we've ever done. As some of you know, we have a new studio, and if I had done it at home, this would come out a little different. So we thought we bring you along and show you what we can do or not with Skype at TCTV. So now, what I want to tell you today, it is one of the more controversial shows again. We haven't done one of those in a long time. And everything's in turmoil, you know. You have floods and you have fires and you have killings in worldwide and things like that. So what people have neglected to do is pay attention to the small things, not small per se, but to everyday things that happen to people every day and all the time that nobody pays attention to anymore. So as luck has it, or not, I have a Facebook friend. His name is Ken Neal. And before everything happened in Orlando, something happened to him in, let me see if I say that right, Sumter County, Florida. I was just told there's two. One is in the Carolinas, but we're talking about the one in Florida. And so he decided to go public with what happened to him. And we really have to be grateful because most people are really afraid. And that's how things get lost in the shuffle. And so I'm really happy that he has agreed to do that. So what we're going to do, we're going to meet him as a person first and then tell you what happened. And just so you know, he was in the hospital till this afternoon, and he was willing to do this show from his hospital bed. Now, so please take the time to see what he has to say, okay? So I'm ready for my guest now, please. Anyway, there's somebody. Oh, there you are. I thought you went outside to do something. It's taken us forever to get you on today. So thank you for being so patient.
You're welcome. Thank you for being here with me and just walking me through this. I appreciate you being here.
Yeah, so what happens is we didn't get an opening shot. I wanted to show that opening shot. Do you mind? There you are. I'm not sure if you can see this or not, but anyway, there you are standing on the steps or something, looking mighty fine. And so now people can see you, how happy you were before your incident. Okay, thank you. So what happens is, I want to talk to you about a person for a minute there. You are married?
Yes.
You have
me and my wife, we've been together for 13 years. Mm-hmm. We have 4 children.
Mm-hmm. We actually have a picture of the family, if you don't mind. And they're gonna pull up a picture of your, you know, what that looks like. Oh, there you are. You can see what we're doing, but we have a picture of your family with your wife and your 4 children. And so, thank you. And that's how that looks like. And so, you're also a musician?
Yes, ma'am. Me and my brother, Michael, he has a studio that he started up called 352 South. And even though he's my younger brother, he's kind of been my mentor when it comes to that. Mm-hmm. He always said, you know, if we try, we can do it. And then he's talking about going to the Grammys, and I thought it was far-fetched. And just like that, it happened. Mm-hmm. And he kind of took me along with him. which was really, really cool.
Yeah,
So,
cool. Now, I understand you got some music coming out when you said October or something?
in October, I have an album out called The Wanderer's Prayer. It's a completely positive album. Already finished, just doing some editing. It's a positive. There's no cursing or anything in the album at all. And it's just a message for people who are discouraged. You know, something to kind of empower the underdog.
Yeah, your picture.
Some of
Go ahead. Your picture froze a little bit, but anyway, so what happens is, and you also have a full-time job, so you're dad and...
Yes.
Yeah.
I do construction. I am the salesman for a construction company here in Sumter County. And, you know, very versatile with a lot of different things when it comes to building and computer work and just all kinds of different things.
That was lucky for us because you had to talk us to some of the stuff we had to do in the studio today because this is new to us, you know what I mean? I want to go back. Control room, can I have the picture of the Grammys, please? There you are, look at there. You got to go to the Grammy with your brother, so tell us about that.
Well, it was a neat experience. There was a lot of complications. Everything seemed like it was trying to hold us back, from financial challenges to missing the flight there. And then we finally got there, and I was just in a whole dream world, but never been to California. So we just took that in, and just being around just the different icons. It was just like a dream. It was like a dream. And I believe that was 2 years ago. And this year, my brother went without me, so I kind of felt left out. I had some things that I needed to attend to at home, so I didn't get to go this year. But next year, it's my goal to a big far-fetched goal, but to perform on stage, that's my goal. So, you know, I got to make that happen.
Well, that messes up my line because I intended to go from the Grammys to your dilemma. But I guess if that was 2 years ago, that's not going to work for me, but that's okay too. So all in all, you live a fairly organized life. Is that correct?
Very organized life. Every day is pretty much the same. 5:30, I wake up.
Oh.
I go to work. I come home. I guess in a way, I don't want to say boring. Let's just say structured.
Structured, yeah.
I live a very structured life. And between work and family life, it pretty much occupies most of my in entertainment. I have to fit that in between the work and the family. Which, you know, I don't mind doing because, first and foremost, I'm a family man.
That's right. And then something happened that sort of disrupted your peace a little bit. I don't know how you wanna work into that, but we pretty much established that you're a very responsible person. You own your home. I mean, you're buying your home.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
Yep.
so then we talk about neighborhood a little later, if you don't mind. So now tell me.
Okay.
Short form, just basically what it is that shattered your reality, because you made us a video so people can, so the viewer can comprehend what that looked like.
Right.
So short form. You know what I mean by short form? You went on your lunch break.
Basically, in a nutshell, I'll tell
Yes.
you what happened here. I was at work, and I had just got done helping my coworkers lay a concrete slab and we finished. So we had another job. It was also a concrete slab, and it was in close proximity to my house. So I decided that I was going to take my lunch break at home. So I went home and ate and just washed up a little bit because my shirt was really, really sweaty, and I had an opportunity to clean up a little bit. And then I got a call from my boss. He was on the way to my house to come pick me up, and we were gonna lay the second slab. So my wife, she parks in the driveway, but I had my work truck parked there at the time. So I was gonna move my truck into my front yard. And so I did, but to my surprise, when I was exiting the car and I looked behind me, there was a deputy.
Let me interrupt you for a minute. You actually reconstructed and filmed it for us so we can comprehend. That's why I said short form. I just wanted some keywords because we're going to show the video on what happened to you. Not yet, control room. Are you still there? Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm still there.
Okay. That's why I said short form.
Yes,
so you had an encounter with the police.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And long story short, I ended up being pulled out of my truck, roughed up, and tased. And all over what he claimed to be a seatbelt warning. That's what initiated everything. He said I wasn't wearing a seatbelt. And then he accused me of eating marijuana. I think, well, one of the officers asked if it was my house, so I believe they think I was making a drug drop in my own yard. And he said I was suspicious. I think that's what made the whole situation develop.
Well, I kind of wanted to set up for that, so for my viewers, let me back up a little bit. Okay. So what we have established is a family man and all of that. So then what happens? He owns his house in a neighborhood, a regular neighborhood like we have nowadays here. Okay. So then this happened, and I asked him to take a video of the thing for me, so you can comprehend. So you can reconstruct in your mind what that looked like. So if you don't mind, let's play that video, and then we talk about it in detail, okay?
All right, thank you.
Yeah, can we get the video of, there we go, where you reconstructed how far everything was, so people can see what that looks like, okay?
Okay.
Yep.
On June 8th, I was on my break at around 12 o'clock. My work truck was parked exactly the way this van is parked in my yard here. As I went to back out, I backed out of my driveway and I noticed an officer coming down the street. I waited on him. He drove all the way down to that stop sign. His name was Hector Otero. He drove into that road all the way down there, which I'm going to walk out for you. I really don't want to walk this out, but I just want to emphasize the distance. It's probably about, I don't know, maybe an eighth of a mile, maybe a 12th of a mile. Pretty good distance, especially being that he claimed to have stopped me for a seatbelt. But I need to emphasize this point because it's very, very bizarre and odd, and I think that's putting it lightly. Well, actually it was just dead wrong. But anyway, the officer drove all the way out here to 428. This is 426E, the road that I live on, and here's the stop sign. He came out into this road and he did a U-turn as I was backing out of my driveway. And he proceeded to move faster I guess he thought he was gonna make a drug bust because that's some of the first things that he started talking about. He didn't realize that I actually lived here. This is my home. But anyways, here's the neighborhood that I live in, and it's known for drug activity, unfortunately. So, all right, this is where I park, and I also park in this section. So what ended up happening, I was parked just like this. I backed out of my driveway, and I pulled into this location. So my wife, which drives that van there, could park there like she always does, and I park on the side like I always do. So I'm gonna drive this out for you and show you just how short of a drive this was. I was facing my garage. Let me put my seatbelt on, because I definitely don't want to get tased again. I backed out. Now I'm going to give you an example of exactly how far I drove when Deputy Otero pulled me, if we can even call it that. And let me put my seatbelt on, because I definitely don't want to get tased again in my front yard. So that happens around here apparently. I backed out of my driveway like so. And I pulled into this spot just like this. And I turned my car off. And I opened my door, but I saw Deputy Otero behind me with his lights on. So I closed my door and I sat here and waited. Otero came here. I asked him, why did he stop me? Which he walked back to his car. Then he came back and I asked him again why he caught me. Then he accused me of having something green in my mouth and told me to put my hands on the steering wheel. Which at that point, I dialed 911. And then he pulled me from the car, kicked me, threw me up against the truck, and commanded Deputy McCaig to tase me, which she did. Then I was cuffed and thrown in jail. There's a lot more to the story, but that's pretty much it in a nutshell. I hope that this is not what America is, but this is what it looks like. Are we just going to be silent about it? Because I think that this is dead wrong. And I think if anybody has any sense of justice, you will agree with me. What are your thoughts on what happened? Please enlighten me, because I am completely confused, disgusted, and our justice system is clearly broken. Let's stand up and do something about this. This is my home. I live here. This man degraded me in front of my house for moving from there to where I am currently parked now. My name's Ken Neal. Thank you very much. Just in the video, it showed exactly what I did and exactly how I did it. I backed out of my driveway and I pulled into the front part of my yard there, and Deputy Otero pulled in behind me. Well, first of all, he did a U-turn from way down the street to pull in behind me, and at that time my boss was coming in, and You know, he rolled the window. I rolled my window down. He rolled his window down, and he asked me what was going on, and neither one of us knew what was happening. So the deputy approached my window, and I asked him what was going on, which he didn't reply. He turned around and walked back to his car. Then he came back, and I asked him again, what's going on? He looks inside of my truck, and he sees that I'm seatbelt, which the truck was turned completely off already. And he said seatbelt. And, you know, I really thought that was very suspicious. It made me very, very nervous. And he goes back to, and then when he comes back, he starts questioning me about, well, actually, I said question, but he accused me. He said, what is that green stuff in your mouth? And I told him that I didn't have anything green in my mouth. And he yells at me, put your hands on the steering wheel. At that point, when I knew that he was blatantly lying to me, it scared me. So I dialed 911. He didn't know I dialed 911, but I did. And when I did that, he started yanking at my arm and pulling me out of the vehicle. He opened the door, pulled me out of the vehicle, and he started kneeing my leg and shoving me up against the truck, which there's a humongous dent on the side of the truck. He started twisting my wrist like this, twisting it, and just trying to take me down to the ground. And I wasn't able to cooperate because I was being attacked. I didn't really know what was happening at the time. It was just a big blur. I didn't know what was happening. And next thing you know, he was behind me, and another officer, a deputy, came up, Deputy McCaig, and Deputy Otero just kept saying, tase him, tase him. And she tased me, and didn't go to the ground some kind of way. But my boss yells at me, shut up and get down. And so I laid down on the ground, and they cuffed me right there, you know, right there in my front yard while I was on break. No.
So now are we going to forward by, how long has it been? 3 weeks now, maybe, huh?
It happened on February 8th. Not February 8th, but June 8th.
Right.
June 8th.
Yeah, okay, so now we fast forward a little bit. In the meantime, you was arrested, and you was charged with a felony, right?
Yes, a felony. The report were for arrest with violence is the charge that I have.
Okay, and then and then you and I had planned on doing this show as soon as we could. Okay, so in the meantime, as of yesterday, you was in a hospital because something evidently happened during the tasing. So take it from there, will you please? Our Skype's messing up.
I had kind of a glitch with Skype.
Yeah, okay, so what did you
Skype
hear?
had a glitch.
I took you as far as being in the hospital yesterday. And so
Yes.
I would like for you to take it from there, how it affected you as a person, health-wise and mentally, and your family.
Oh,
and,
okay.
And
well,
we want to talk about that for a minute, and then we talk about neighborhood too, okay?
Well, I'm going to start with my family because that was one of the main things that stressed me out. I was at a peak in my life, at a really high point in my life where I thought that everything was just not perfect, but as close to perfect as it has ever been for me. And after the incident happened, low that we ever had to experience, you know, just tears, a lot of tears. Uh, for me, a lot of sleepless nights. Uh, for the next few days after I was tased, I couldn't breathe very well. But I'm stubborn, so I wouldn't go to the hospital. I just wouldn't do it. And I just tried to get right back in there, which, you know, I did. I went to work the next day. After I got out of jail, I went to work. It just took a real toll on my family, which they're holding up very well considering. Which, you know, I'm just gonna throw in there that my kids are very good children. All of them made honor roll for the entire year. All of them made student of the month this year. One of my children scored perfectly on his state and made straight A's for the entire year. You can't see it, but I'm looking at it's kind of like, I don't want to say shrine, but like a monument of sorts for the children. It's right in front of me. It's got their pictures and awards and trophies and everything that they've won. You know, that's our family. We focus on family. That's what we live for. And, you know, it's just these tears and all this pain and all this distress just kind of came out of nowhere.
So now, in the meantime, people set up a GoFundMe page for you, and the gentleman that set this up, he wrote the following. I'm going to read this in his own words, okay? And it says here, Kenny Neal, also known in our community as Ken Neal, is one of the leaders when it comes to bringing our community together from all corners of Sumter County. He is well known for putting together the annual county-wide talent show of all ages, Bushnell Got Talent. These events bring our 5 small towns together so often, many of them feel like family reunions, and he is recognized by everyone for his warm welcome and smile. My name is Jake Jones, and I have known him for over 6 years, starting with my first of many talent shows. Going on to accidentally becoming his neighbor. Oh, he became your neighbor, cool. To the brief, he has been a mentor, a friend, and a big brother who cares about his neighbors and his community. What has happened to him is an injustice that has been happening for too long. Unfortunately, 2016 hasn't brought everyone into the 21st century, and there is still evident racism as natural as if it was there in the 50s in some neighborhoods. That's what he said. Now, control room, can I have the picture of all the people at the art show? So here you go. And that shows what some of the people that you work with. And so I'm assuming they were all very, very upset that this happened to you.
Absolutely.
Now I'm going to go out on the limb here. Do you mind?
Go for it.
I'm going to go out on the limb. Okay. I've talked to you in private here quite often since that happened, and you know, sometimes we end up in neighborhoods where things are close to perfect but not quite perfect. And with everything going on or not, you think this was, let's call a spade here. It almost appears to me like this was racially motivated. Would you agree with that?
I don't like to say it because, first of all, I would say that the majority of the people who stand are Caucasian people, and I don't want to divide anyone supports me and who is with me. But I do feel that if I would have been a different shade, that it wouldn't have happened the way
yeah.
that it happened.
Yeah.
I really, you know, and I hate to admit that. I really do, because to acknowledge that this ignorance exists in our world, it's just like, you know, I don't even want to acknowledge it. But at this point, I was damaged. My family was damaged by something that, like you said, calling a spade a spade.
Yeah.
I do think that it was motivated. I do. And that's not to say that there's not something deeper there, because I think that he's just a bad man in general.
Mm-hmm.
Because he has also of different color too. So I think there's some status things, and just like there's status, and there's different reasons for why he can attack you. I think race is one of his targets. Race is a target. Status is a target. Just anybody that he can bully. So yes, I think race is an issue there. I think so.
Well, you know, over the years, I mean, we've had different words for the same thing. And since we're so politically correct these days, and most of the young people don't have a point of reference, I'm just about 70 years old, and so we were sort of used to stuff like that. Then we try to change it. But the way the country is going now, it is scary. I mean, no matter where you go, you always have to watch yourself, and the people that's supposed to help you, there's the ones that come after you, you know. But you know, Kenny, you know what bothered me the most? I mean, not the most, but what surprised me the most, that the officer that tased you like that was a female.
Yes.
I would have never thought that, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, it was very strange. It happened really fast too. I didn't even have a real chance to cooperate. I didn't have a chance to cooperate. I was snatched out of the car and tased in in a quick manner. I felt like I was attacked.
So now, like I said, I'm almost 70 years old, and I know how I trained my children to be looking out for certain things, and then I kind of forgot to do that with my grandchildren, because I thought we had fought a fight where this wasn't happening anymore, you know. And so now, how do your children deal with that? I mean, are you talking about it, or are you preparing your children a different way, or you want to go there for a minute?
Absolutely. Like I was saying before, my children are the core of why I do the things that I do. Like, when I don't want to get up in the morning and go to work, I know that it's food from their mouth, basically. You know, there's no options there. That's what I have to do. So, that being said, I want the best for them. So I have to make them aware of the realities.
That's the key.
The realities that exist. Because never in my wildest dreams did I ever think that something like this would ever happen to me, ever. And I'm still shocked. I'm still having a problem digesting what happened.
You know, I have great grandchildren now, and I mean, some of them are a little older, but I kind of try to make a little joke out of it. When they leave the house, I'll say, and don't forget. And they say, yeah, I know I'm black. It's really sad that you have to say that to a child. You know what I mean?
It is.
But
you know, and when I was younger, I wouldn't have really understood that. Yeah. I would have been like, you know, we're all equal. We're all the same.
Yeah.
And just because that is in my mind doesn't mean that it's in that other person's mind. You know, they might not. They might.
Now, you see, I have grandchildren.
I see it that way.
I have grandchildren your age, see, and I neglected to educate them how things used to be.
Right.
But I think we really have to have this conversation with the young people, you know, because the country is so divided, and it's back like it's like the 50s. It is unbelievable, you know.
Yes, it is.
So for my viewers, you know, if you have especially people in your family of mixed race, say something and make them aware of what to watch out for, because you can sit in your car in your driveway, and next thing you know, you get tased because supposedly they didn't see you wear a seatbelt from half a block down the street. And that's why I appreciated you taking that video so we could comprehend what distance was involved here, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I'm not gonna say that Otero said this to me, but there was an officer there who was not aware that the house that I was at was my house. And I told him to
Was
look
your
at
own
the
house.
name on the
Mm-hmm.
mailbox. I was in the neighborhood. And I think they saw me and figured the only thing that I can think is that maybe they think that I'm making a drug drop, because I just don't see how drugs got into the picture in the first place.
Yeah.
And how I became suspicious in my own front yard.
Now, speaking of drugs, now you told me when you was in the hospital yesterday that they tried to give you morphine, and you did what?
I didn't want the morphine at all.
See, because
didn't want
it's
morphine.
that stereotyping and everything. It's really bad, you know. So what are your plans going forward? Do you know? I mean, you're just a sitting duck right now. You don't know what they're going to do to you, right?
I am a sitting duck. It's very scary. At this point, I had to make a decision about speaking out whatsoever. I have to go down, which I don't like that thought, but just like the reality of the race issue, my reality is I could go down with this. That's how I feel in my heart. So I would rather not have my back turned to the situation and have my eyes open, looking forward and addressing it, than to run away from it like a coward and have it swept under the rug as if the problem does not exist. So the one thing that I can do, I can speak out so people will listen. So people will listen. And no, I don't want to be a martyr. I don't want to be the next Martin Luther King. I want to live.
Mm-hmm.
But at this point, I have to say something, because this is our community. And if I don't say something, it's going to continue. It's going to happen to somebody else away from their family. Because I got fortunate, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
There's somebody out there, or some people already, who have not been so fortunate. You know, and I just imagine the people that's just sitting up in their jail cells, not guilty of a single thing, just crying, who's been ripped away from their lives. And what kind of person would I be if I didn't stand up for them? This is for them as well as for me. And this is for the people in the future, so they won't be blindsided like blinds. It caught me completely off guard. I do not want you to be caught off guard. You have to know.
And it kind of let's say it kind of ripped the rug from under you safety-wise. I mean, you know what I mean? We usually talk about women. Some happens, and then then they get scared. But you being a male, it's the same thing. Something happens, and then something happens, and it just takes away your security. You know? How do you explain that?
It does. I haven't been able to sleep very well at my house. I don't feel safe in my own home anymore. I don't feel safe doing anything. Just driving to the store and getting a gas milk. I see lights coming around the corner. It makes me nervous. Every little thing makes me nervous because I don't feel safe whatsoever. And it's unfortunate, but it's true.
Yeah, see, so is something like that can cause, well, it can. It probably cause PTSD and things like that. But your wife is holding up well, you say?
She is so strong and she is so good to me. Uh, she doesn't waver whatsoever. She's giving me more love than I ever imagined that she could. And she's really making me very confident in the person she chose me. In fact, she's at work right now, and I just can't wait for her to get home.
Yeah.
But
speaking of work now, yesterday, now you can't go back to work because until they figure out what's wrong with your heart from the tasing, right?
right. Well, the doctors believe that I either had a minor heart attack or a stroke. And my employer told me that I was a liability to the company and to myself, and that they love me, but they cannot have root one of my primary jobs. So I don't really know what I'm going to be doing. I'm sure that my employers are going to look out for me the best that they can, but at the same time, my income and my livelihood is disrupted.
It's disrupted, yeah. Now, speaking of this, they actually originally, let's see, what was Jake Jones put up a FundMe page for you. That's on my it's on my Facebook, viewers. What they wanted to raise money to get you an attorney. Remember?
Yes.
Now,
and that's the hard part.
Right.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So now I would also like to let people know that you don't have an income at the moment, in case that makes a difference. Now, am I right, or did I misunderstand you? You have not been charged, right?
I've been charged. I haven't been convicted.
Mm-hmm. And you don't have a court date?
Don't have a court date at this point.
And it's been, what, 3 weeks?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So we really don't know what's ahead here. But if anybody wanted to give you a hand, that would be appreciated, you know? Yeah, so, and they can get a hold of you on Facebook, yes? Oh, actually,
yes.
we listed that, yeah. And either that or get a hold of me. And it's really sad. This is 2016. I just can't get over things like that, you know. Like 20 years ago, I did 6 prison shows where it showed that what it was like for people to have to go to prison, and especially if they were accused of something they didn't do. And then everything just kind of died down, and we thought the whole world was beautiful again, you know. But it is getting so bad that it's just getting so bad, there has to be a check and balance. Now, question, did the officers wear cameras? Would you happen to know that?
I couldn't answer that question. I don't know. I don't know if they did or not.
Yeah, so.
But like one thing that I would be willing to do, that I'm certain that he probably wouldn't be willing to do, I would embrace and just welcome a lie detector test. I would welcome it, and I don't think that he would. Because I'm completely confident and hold firm to the truth. I know I did absolutely nothing wrong. And the criminal was the person that was supposed to protect me. He was supposed to protect me, but he hurt me instead. Now, if there was any kind of challenge, if there could be a challenge to validate or discredit either one of us, I'm willing to step to the plate, and I highly doubt that he would. He would probably hide. He would probably hide from it. So, like, I mean this in a literal sense. If it ever comes down to it, I'm ready for it.
So, excuse me, I got some in my mouth here. So anyway, we also put you in the newsletter, so we'll go, you know, it'll go further than that. And yeah, are there any agencies or any things in your area that you can, like support groups or things? You may want to take a look at that too, and so to find out how many more people that's been harassed like that.
So far, I mean, it's not really a support group, but it kind of turned into a support group, which is my Facebook page. I have 5,000 people there, and I've been communicating with a lot of people who have similar stories, and believe it or not, some have even worse stories.
Oh, I wasn't aware of that. I wish you would post them.
Worse stories. You know, I can't go on the record with that because, you know, but it's just a shame. And see, I'm not fighting for myself anymore because I see that the community has taken a hit. The community's taken a hit.
Yeah.
The community has taken a hit, and it can't be tolerated. And if I'm about it, I'm gonna let these innocent people down. And so that some people are criminals. I'm not saying that everyone is innocent.
Absolutely, yeah.
But just knowing what I know and how I was done, I'm inclined to believe the person them just because I know what happened to me and that I was completely innocent.
Well, again, I really, I really appreciate you having the courage to come out and do that. And I haven't done any show in several months, so I sort of came out of hiding. And I need to say something to my viewers here for a minute. Now, we did the prediction show in October for the country. Then everything happened, and I'm going to, so the show you see after this one, I had to update the predictions because everything happened. So I'm not sure when this is going to air, but what you're going to see next week is the prediction going forward for the rest of the year because everything happened. And it's really scary. Well, scary. It's disturbing, let's say that, what's going on in the world. And then to be fortunate enough to have somebody that that brings it to you. So now that we fairly know how the Skype shows work, maybe we can present some more things to you from that area. And back to you. I can go back to you, okay, Nellie. Can I get him back? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, there you are. So you don't, back to you. So you don't know how long you're going to be off of work or nothing, do you?
Well, I mean, my hours are probably going to be limited. My employers, they love me so much, I'm sure they're going to find something for me to do that I really don't need to do because that's how they are. You know, they're just going to find something to get a little money in my pocket. It's not going to be as regular as what they actually need me to do. My actual, you know, the actual thing that I'm not certain that I'll be able to do that anytime soon based on how my body reacted when I tried to do it. So, you know, I'm kind of going on a tangent here. So.
Now the other thing, I don't know if this is right or not, but the other thing, somebody else that could look at that, maybe the Civil Liberties Union, you know what I mean? But we don't want to put the cart in front of the cart in front of the horse here. But it's really, yeah, it's really unfortunate. But I'm so glad that you shared that with us. Do you have any closing thoughts for me here?
I sure do. I really do. I don't want people to feel too sad for me. I don't want people to feel too sorry for me because if there's a bad man out there, this was going to happen to somebody. Somebody would have been done unjustly. And I'm glad because I was looking at the news. There was a kid who got tased recently who died from cardiac arrest. I'm alive. So my heart was strong enough to take a tasing, which I'm glad that I was able to survive something like that. And also, there's people who have been done unjustly that are afraid to speak up, which means there be no change. I'm afraid to speak up. And no matter what happens, I'm here for the change. And I have faith in a higher power, and I have faith in the people. And I believe that there will be a change. And I'm counting on everybody to take part and don't let our community down. These are your children. This is your community. This is our country. This is something that we cannot just, but something we have to address. And I'm glad it happened to me because I will speak up about it.
That was pretty heavy. Wow. I appreciate you saying that. I mean, you and I talk in private sometimes, but I really appreciate that. Did you do your art festival?
It's coming up. The show must go on. You know, we're not gonna let them throw us off track.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're gonna pick up right where we started, and we're not gonna go back the other direction. I'm not even gonna hate the people who did this to me. I'm gonna forgive them because they need something. I don't know what they need. I'm gonna leave that in God's hands, but they need something. But I'm gonna put that behind me, and I'm gonna move forward with my life. And I'm not gonna keep that hurt and pain in my heart. Let it go. I'm gonna let it go, and I'm gonna give them into the hands of justice, and I'm gonna continue with my life. And you know, just get my smile back. I'm gonna get my smile back. I got a headache right now, a real bad headache. But I'm getting my smile back already. You know, I'm not gonna be just, you know, I'm not gonna go back the other way and just start hating everybody, and you know, because then they win. Then they've changed me, and they've taken something that is a core. You know, they've taken a piece of me, which I can't let them have that part of me. It's too important.
Mm-hmm. So if we're almost out of time, I think. But the thing is here, do you think they would want to have an investigation, or you? Well, you know what we need to do? After some of the things settle, why don't we do a follow-up on this?
Okay,
you
absolutely.
Know? And in the meantime, you post things on Facebook, so if anybody wants an update, just go to either you or my Facebook. And I'm glad people have rallied around you. And if I could fly, I would come and visit, but I can't fly, so we're just going to have to do it this way.
That'll work.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That'll work. And this is for the people. I never in my wildest imagined that I would have so many people that support me. Mm-hmm. And even in this time with a lot of shaking going on, I see a lot of people who used to be my cracks. I'm losing friends left and right. So many people are questioning my credibility, but yet more people are still there. Mm-hmm. And that I appreciate that because marching for a cause, and we're brothers and sisters. I don't want the enemy marching behind me with a knife.
Mm-hmm. Now you froze.
I know who's with me and who's not. Well, I know who's with me and I know who's not, and I don't want the enemy marching behind me, ready to stab me in the back. Mm-hmm. And I just appreciate the people who have enough faith in me to know and believe, and I love you. I really do. And you can be assured that in the future, when everything comes to the light, you'll be like, I knew my friend was telling the truth. And I love you for having that faith in me right now.
Oh, we love you too. How much time do I have? Nobody's talking to me. I think y'all went home. Hello? 53 seconds. I got 53 seconds. Thank you, my friend, for sharing this with me, with us. We want to take it off of Facebook, not Facebook, YouTube, and send it to your friends, because everybody can learn some. Thank you, crew. Thank you, crew. I'm sure they said you're welcome. Come see me next week. And like I said, next week we will air an update on the predictions. And have a wonderful summer, and hug your kids and your grandkids, because you don't know what's ahead of them either. And so, bye. Say bye, hon. Say bye.
And see you later. God bless y'all.
Miss Lilian, we'd like to thank you for all the fun you took us here. Take us there, and it's just because you really care where our journey goes. All it begins is part of our planning will extend. And if we do our part, we'll full of mission. We've had from the like to thank you for all the fun. Take us here, and you take us there.